Welcome to About Mansfield. It's your audio newspaper. I'm Steve Casillo, broadcasting from the Cellmark Studios, along with the About Mansfield news team. Colleen Daniel, she's out there in Studio West. This is the August 13th, 2025, 284th edition. Coming up, it's Mansfield News, Talk, and Information.
And a little later in the episode, you will have a chance to win a $25 gift card to a Mansfield restaurant of your choice with our Mansfield Trivia Question, courtesy of Joe Jenkins Insurance.
Let's take a look at the stories we're covering this week.
New school year brings new laws in Texas.
City Council lowers the tax rate in a moment with the mayor.
Playground equipment deliveries may cause traffic delays.
Mansfield firefighter marks 25 years of service.
Library hosts thousands of second quarter visitors.
And in sports, Friday Night Lights is just around the corner, and North Texas SC tops Austin in a shootout.
And in the talk segment, Steve talks about the tax implications of the One Big Beautiful Bill with CPA Alison Reiff-Martin. We are Mansfield's only source for news, talk, and information. This is About Mansfield.
Hey there, it's Luke from Cool Hand Electric. Are you tired of dealing with plugs or lights that just won't cooperate? Well, don't fret. Give us a call. Worried about power outages or surges damaging your precious electronics? We've got you covered. Whether it's a whole house generator or surge protection, our solution-oriented Cool Hands are ready to tailor the perfect option that suits your needs and budget. At Cool Hand Electric, excellence is still cool.
Cool Hand, Cool Hand, Cool Hand, where excellence is still cool.
This summer, be the super parent of the season with the Hawaiian Falls Staycation Splash Pass. For just $49.99, get unlimited visits to your home park all summer long. Skip the hassle of travel. It's time for heart-racing slides, relaxing lazy rivers, wave pool adventures, and unforgettable memories right in your own backyard. All of the fun, none of the fuss. Make this the summer they'll never forget with the Staycation Splash Pass from Hawaiian Falls. Get yours now at hfalls.com. That's hfalls.com.
Looking for a night out that's anything but ordinary? Step into Vault Seafood and Steakhouse, Mansfield's premier upscale dining experience. Savor perfectly aged steaks, fresh seafood, and handcrafted cocktails, all served in a stunning atmosphere. Want more? Enjoy private dining rooms and a cigar lounge for that extra touch of luxury. Vault delivers exceptional flavor in a one-of-a-kind atmosphere. Located at Matlock and Country Club, Vault Seafood and Steakhouse. Unforgettable nights. Unmatched taste.
Hi, I'm Scott Farrell, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to About Mansfield. This portion of the news is brought to you by Vault Seafood and Steakhouse.
This fall, Texas public schools are introducing a wave of new laws with significant changes in daily routines, classroom displays, and school oversight, alongside a major boost in education funding. Under House Bill 1481, students will no longer be allowed to use personal communication devices, such as cell phones, smartwatches, tablets, or two-way radios during the school day. School districts are required to adopt and enforce policies by mid-September. Exceptions are made for medical needs, individualized education plans, or emergencies. Effective September 1st, Senate Bill 10 mandates that every public school classroom display a framed or poster version of the 10 Commandments, measuring at least 16 by 20 inches. The state won't fund this. Schools must either accept compliant donations or pay for the signage themselves. This law has sparked legal opposition, including a federal lawsuit citing First Amendment concerns. Senate Bill 11 allows school boards to implement a voluntary period for student prayer or Bible reading, but only for students with signed parental consent. A sweeping DEI ban under Senate Bill 12 prohibits diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, including lessons or support around gender identity and sexual orientation. Educators must also use pronouns that align with a student's sex assigned at birth.
And Colleen, Senate Bill 13 expands parental control over school library content. A newly formed advisory council will oversee what books may be available, giving school boards authority to veto materials deemed profane or indecent. In nutrition, Senate Bill 314 bans certain additives such as brominated vegetable oil, red 40, potassium bromate, orange B, and titanium dioxide in free or reduced priced school meals. And finally, House Bill 2 injects $8.5 billion into public education, funding teacher salaries, special education services, early childhood learning, and school safety programs. The Mansfield City Council held a regularly scheduled meeting on Monday evening. The following opinions there was Michael Evans may not necessarily reflect those of the Mansfield City Council. As we do every other Tuesday morning, top of the morning, Mayor Michael Evans.
Top of the morning, my friend.
Let's just hop right into it. A short council meeting, yet a long day because of work sessions.
Yes, we started the day with work sessions. Actually, it was about a 4.5 hour meeting. And let me tell you what we started with. We continued our season-long budget discussions as we are working to build a fiscally responsible budget for this upcoming year. The fiscal year starts October the 1st. And Steve, you know what? I can bring you some good news today, my friend.
Bring me some good news today.
Breaking right now is number one. We presented a balanced budget. High five. The other is, get ready, drum roll. Here it is. We lowered the tax rate again.
Wait, say that again?
We lowered the tax rate again. We lowered it. It's below 64 cents now. It's at 63.90 per $100 evaluation to public hearing. Now it's going to a public hearing in the next couple of meetings, but that's where we are. We voted on that last night, and I am happy to announce to our residents that again, we are at a 35-year low in regard to our tax rate. So
that's not what I'm reading on social media. Come on now. That's
well, you know, I tell you what. Everything on social media, I've got a secret for you.
Yeah.
It's not real. But anyway, you know, such is life. But I do know this, that the data, the numbers don't lie. This is, again, a 35-year low in regard to our tax rate. And we're going to continue to move. I mean, the more we invest in our city, the more we continue to do that. You heard about Stayboat Entertainment. It was all over the news on last week. All of that investment, Steve, what it does is it helps us to lower the tax burden on our folks.
There you go.
I'm excited about it, as you can tell. But man, listen, it's a great day when you can talk about lowering taxes.
Well, if we're talking about saving the Mansfield residents money. Any word on the homestead exemption?
Good question. Well, the homestead exemption is going to remain at 16%, still the highest that it's ever been in the history of our city. And know this, that our council continues to be committed to reaching our goal. Our goal is 20%. But know this, this particular year was kind of funny. One is we received our data late in regard to the uncertainty in the numbers. We still had 25% of the city's total value under protest. Now, let me say that again. 25% of the city's total value under protest. And the deadline for us to decide on whether we are going to offer a change in the exemptions is July the 1st. So when you got 25% of the city's total value under protest, that's about $24 million. So, my friend, it would have been quite irresponsible for us to make any changes to that because let me just tell you what $24 million means. That's equal to a quarter of the current general fund budget. That's 70% of the capital improvement street projects next year. And you know we need to take care of our streets.
Yep. And
it's 100% of the capital parks projects planned for FY 2026. So, you know, we wanted to do it, but you can't put that much money in jeopardy because that would have affected the salaries of our public safety, our public servants in regard to our police, fire. We just weren't going to do that. And we were committed this year to make sure that we offered raises to our hardworking police, fire, the rank and file, because we don't want to be on the lower rung when it comes to the salaries for these good people. We want to make sure that we're at least in the middle because they deserve it. So Ladies and gentlemen, 16% is where we are. Our goal is 20%, but you know what? When I came to office, it was 10%. So, brother, we're working.
You're working. Pretty serious stuff.
It really is. I mean, when you think about it, you know, the tax appraisals and all of that stuff, it really affects who we are. I mean, our friends at the school district can tell you about that. But you know, now now we're doing evaluations every other year as opposed to annually. So it makes it a little harder to predict where the dollars are coming from.
Well, let's change the temperature of the room.
Let's do that. Oh, please.
Public art.
Oh, public art. That always changes the temperature. Yeah, that's a woosah moment, I tell you. So Mansfield Public Arts presented the inaugural piece for the Mansfield Public Arts program, which will be a part of our new animal shelter. Now, check this out. The work that has been selected by our citizenry it's by an artist named Vito DeBari. Doesn't that sound like an artist?
That does.
Vito DeBari. He celebrates with us our furry friends as he will craft a statue-like monument kind of thing, you know, but people are going to have to come out and see it when the time comes. So the unveiling will be the upcoming spring 2026. So I'm just going to kind of tease it. Y'all need to see it. It's going to be huge, and you're going to like it.
All right. 4 consent agenda items. 4 consent agenda items authorizing the city's participation in the Purdue-Sackler opioid settlement. Now, that's very serious. These dollars come to local municipalities in order to help people to beat that disease, and drug addiction is that. So, you know, we highlighted that. The other is we consented to the assignment of the development agreement for Mason and Mill, and we also approved special minutes from our budget workshop and from the last regular city council meeting. I know that's not sexy, but you know, it gives people an opportunity to go back and read the stuff that took place. Sure. Finally, a zoning change. Finally, a zoning change, Steve. I tell you, we approved a zoning change for a specialty grocer and retail on about 6 acres. Listen, folks, at Matlock Road and Debbie Lane. And we'll have more details about this project in the future. But I think that is one that the community will be excited about. But can't tell you who it is yet. And that is a moment with the mayor. Mayor, you're looking very relaxed today. Oh, gosh. Yes, I am on my way. I'm on vacation starting today. And Mayor Pro Tem Todd Tenora is going to handle the ship for about 10 good days. Well, enjoy wherever you're going, and good to see you again. Thanks for being on About Mansfield. I appreciate all that you do. Developer House of Tangram has purchased 30 acres in Mansfield for a new mixed-use project. The site is part of the larger Staybolt Street district and will feature a 288-unit hotel called Carbon Mansfield, a 33,000 square foot convention center, and is next to the Mansfield Stadium, which is currently under construction for North Texas SC Soccer Club. The convention center is designed to host sports, medical technology, and high-performance events. Plans include Cash Legitimat and Kubo, a dual-branded hotel concept with robotic bartenders, drone delivery, and immersive media walls. Construction is set to begin next summer and take about 2 years. House of Tangram is a development company creating hotels and lodging tailored to specific lifestyles. Their projects include luxury hotels for athletes and wellness travelers, pet-friendly roadside stops for long-distance travelers, and pod-style accommodations in high-demand locations. The company combines data-driven design, amenities, and shared spaces with the stated goal of making travel feel more like home.
Drivers along Walnut Creek Drive in front of Rose Park may see intermittent traffic delays this Wednesday through Friday as playground equipment deliveries begin. 10 semi-trucks are scheduled to transport the new play structures, which will cover more than an acre, over 7 times the size of the current playground. The Rose Park parking lot will be closed during unloading, and brief lane closures may occur as trucks enter and exit. Park access will be available only via the Walnut Creek Linear Trail from Town or Hardy Almond Parks. City officials say the park remains on schedule to reopen in December after installation and safety surfacing are complete.
The Mansfield Fire Department has recently recognized the 25-year career of firefighter Brent Bowen. Bowen joined the department in July of 2000 and has served in several specialized roles, including 2 decades on the Swiftwater Rescue Team and 5 years with the Police Department Crisis Negotiations Team. He was named Firefighter of the Year in 2004. Department officials say his work reflects dedication to public safety and the community.
And from the Did You Know file, the Mansfield Public Library would like you to know that in the second quarter of this year, April through June, the library had over 21,000 visitors, issued over 1,600 new library cards, and had 1,300 room reservations. And now you know.
Friday Night Lights and a win for North Texas SC. We'll talk about it because sports is next.
This summer, be the super parent of the season with the Hawaiian Falls Staycation Splash Pass. For just $49.99, get unlimited visits to your home park all summer long. Skip the hassle of travel. It's time for heart-racing slides, relaxing lazy rivers, wave pool adventures, and unforgettable memories right in your own backyard. All of the fun, none of the fuss. Make this the summer they'll never forget with the Staycation Splash Pass from Hawaiian Falls. Get yours now at hfalls.com. That's hfalls.com.
Hungry for bold flavor and a good time? Head on over to El Primo's to enjoy sizzling fajitas and their signature blue margarita. Enjoy weekend live entertainment and let the kids run wild with an outdoor play area and arcade. Planning a party? Multiple private rooms are available, including the all-new Parrot's Nest to make your event a success. Food, fun, and flavor for the whole family at El Primo's. Visit elprimos.net and bring your appetite. Located at Matlock and Country Club. El Primo's, where the locals go.
In sports, the Mansfield ISD high school football schedule is out with opening games set for Thursday and Friday, August 28th and 29th. On Thursday, the 28th, Lake Ridge plays at Frisco Reedy and Timberview visits Dallas Kimball. Friday's lineup includes home games for Summit and Mansfield, while Legacy travels to Justin. To see the complete schedule for all 5 MISD teams, visit our Facebook page. Just search for About Mansfield News Talk. In Austin, Friday night, North Texas SC battled to a 1-1 draw with Austin FC2, then took the extra point in a dramatic 6-5 shootout. Captain, for the first time this season, that'd be goalie JT Harms, was the star between the posts, stopping 7 shots, a career high for the Wisconsin native. The scoring opened early in the second half when Caleb Swan buried his first professional goal in the 48th minute.
Yeah, so I was sitting at the top of the box, kind of. I saw him playing the ball around, and then once it came to Pedrinho, I saw the defender was on his back, and I know Pedrinho being Brazilian, having some flair, I figured he would do something fancy, so I just waited, and then the ball was just right at my right foot, so it was easy pass into the goal.
Swan is now the 13th different North Texas player to score a goal this year. Brazilian midfielder Pedrinho, who joined FC Dallas late last year, showed he's still got magic in his boots, adding to his strong start since returning from the Invitational Tournament. Head coach John Gall is encouraged with the team's effort.
I was really proud of the guys. We're playing against a good team that attacks really well. They overload wide areas, and we knew that was going to be the case, and I felt that we dealt with that quite well. And then obviously to get the goal was all important for us because I knew that one goal was probably going to be enough. I thought it showed a lot of mentality. I thought it showed a lot of grit. And I think it showed a lot of maturity tonight with players stepping up.
North Texas improves to 8-4 on the season. And of course, you can see North Texas SC play in their new home stadium in Mansfield starting in March 2026 at the Mansfield Stadium. And that, my friends, is a look at sports. If you have a comment about the show, the news, whatever's on your mind locally, you can reach us by voicemail at 817-435-2938. 817-435-2938. Speaking of commentaries,
The politics of everything, Mansfield's mirror of ourselves. I remembered the sound of porch chairs creaking in the evening breeze. Just before the sun slipped behind the rooftops, we'd gather there, neighbors, cousins, parents, with tired feet and sun-warmed shoulders, and we'd talk. Not always with agreement, but always with intention. The porch was our commons, and politics, when it came up, was a matter of shared concern, not a declaration of war. That world feels far away now, not because the porch disappeared, but because the space between us has been flooded with noise, suspicion, and narrative. That's the story in Mansfield, too. At first glance, it's just a suburban city. Tree-lined streets, bustling schools, weekend baseball games, small business pride, and Sunday services. But look a little closer and you'll see something else. A community slowly fracturing under the weight of suspicion, narrative, and noise. You'll see the emergence of websites like the Mansfield Accountability Project, launched by a group claiming to be the city's truth tellers, guardians of transparency, champions of the real people. They say they're exposing systemic failures in city governance. They list decisions made behind closed doors, budgets passed without consent, and projects that seem to materialize without public input. Their mission? To hold the city accountable. But look a little deeper and the questions begin to multiply. One of the project's founders was himself a high-ranking city official, the director of budgeting and purchasing, for more than 2 decades. He retired in 2022. Today, he critiques a system he helped build. Curiously, the Mansfield Accountability Project focuses on years after 2022, where it claims we're rife with mismanagement. Why the selective lens? Why not include the founder's tenure, during which similar spending patterns and ordinances were commonplace, often without voter input, including one he personally sponsored in 2008. If the truth is the goal, why the silence? If transparency is the standard, why isn't it mutual? This is the politics of everything in miniature. When history becomes optional, when critique is selective, when facts are weaponized instead of clarified. Transparency isn't a new fight in Mansfield. The city has published agendas, minutes, and videos of council meetings since 2008. It has expanded online tools to track budgets, project statuses, and public hearings. These aren't the signs of government hiding in the shadows. They are signs of a city doing its job. Imperfectly? Yes. But dishonestly? That's a much heavier charge. That's the beating heart of the politics of everything and creating a deeper issue, selective outrage. It's when a school board race becomes a referendum on national values. When a city council candidate is grilled about federal immigration policy, something they have no jurisdiction over. When national narratives swallow local conversations. It's when a neighbor becomes an enemy, not for what they do, but for what they represent. When scrutiny is applied only to the other side and never to oneself. This isn't new, but it is accelerating. Across the country, political action committees now target small-town elections with 6-figure budgets. They promise to keep politics out while bringing it in under a different name. They push agendas through proxies, using fear, faith, or family values as rhetorical camouflage. And the public, exhausted and overstimulated, is left asking, who's telling the truth? In Mansfield, the tension is palatable. City spending decisions are no longer just financial. They're existential. Ordinances are not seen as administrative tools, but as ideological statements. A new city hall construct, government overreach. A new park, fiscal irresponsibility. Every choice is politicized, every action interpreted through partisan goggles. Even faith is folded in. When a young man knocks on your door saying America needs Christian laws, what he really means is he wants his version of morality written into legislation. He wants a country governed by Scripture, his Scripture. That's not accountability, that's control. And it's not democracy, it's dominion. The front porch is empty now, not because no one's home, but because no one feels safe enough to talk. People avoid civic life out of fear of being labeled, or worse, misunderstood. Voter turnout stagnates, local engagement drops, trust evaporates, and those who yell loudest become the only voices left in the room. Meanwhile, problems don't get solved. Roads still crack, teachers still burn out, small businesses still struggle. But the fight continues, not about solutions, but about slogans. This is what happens when everything becomes political and nothing becomes sacred. Accountability is important, vital even. But real accountability starts with intellectual honesty. It requires looking at the whole picture, not just the pieces that make your case. It means applying scrutiny to your allies as much as your enemies. It means listening more than you speak. And it means participating, not just posting. So what's now? The future of Mansfield, like the future of any community, depends on what we do with this moment. Will we weaponize our local platforms to settle those scores? Or will we reclaim civic life as a shared space, not a battlefield? Will we allow the politics of everything to turn neighbor against neighbor? Or will we choose something better, something older, something wiser? It starts small with a conversation, a cup of coffee, a question asked without accusation, a disagreement that ends with a handshake, not a headline. Mansfield isn't broken, it's just caught in the storm. But storms pass, and when they do, we get to decide what we rebuild and what we leave behind. Let's bring back the porch. Let's keep the politics where it belongs, in the town hall, in the voting booth, in the public square. Let's protect our city from the noise beyond it, because the politics of everything doesn't just threaten our institution. It threatens our relationships, our trust, our sense of home. And Mansfield is worth fighting for, together. I'm Tamara Bounds, and that's my opinion. What's yours?
Again, commentaries, editorials, or rebuttals can be submitted by voicemail at 817-435-2938. This coming Saturday, August 16th, is National Tell a Joke Day, the perfect excuse to share a laugh, lighten the mood, and maybe even test out your best stand-up material. The unofficial holiday has been making the rounds for years, encouraging folks to break up the day with a little humor. Whether it's a classic one-liner, a groan-worthy dad joke, or a silly pun, laughter is proven to reduce stress, boost your immune system, and make you more likable. So go ahead, this Saturday or any day, give someone a giggle. In the spirit of the day, here's one for you. Why don't skeletons fight each other? Because they don't have the guts.
Coming up after the break, we turn the page to the features section.
I'm Angel Biasatti, and today I'm excited to invite you to a very special event right here in our community. And we'll talk about it on Methodist Mansfield News to Know.
In this week's Cocktail of the Week, we're heating things up with a fiery twist that dances between cool and heat.
We will talk with a middle school teacher in 40 Under 40.
We are Mansfield's only source for news, talk, and information. I'm Colleen Daniel, and this is About Mansfield.
This portion of the news was brought to you by El Primo's, where the locals go.
Hey there, it's Luke from Cool Hand Electric. Are you tired of dealing with plugs or lights that just won't cooperate? Well, don't fret. Give us a call. Worried about power outages or surges damaging your precious electronics? We've got you covered. Whether it's a whole house generator or surge protection, our solution-oriented Cool Hands are ready to tailor the perfect option that suits your needs and budget. At Cool Hand Electric, excellence is still cool.
Cool hand, cool hand, cool hand, where excellence is still cool.
At Methodist Mansfield Medical Center, we've been caring for our home team for over 15 years. Today, you'll find award-winning physicians on the medical staff, advanced neurosurgery, a Level 3 trauma center, critical care for newborns, and comprehensive orthopedic care. Methodist Mansfield, delivering the care our friends, neighbors, and home team depend on. That's community, and why so many people trust Methodist.
Congratulations to Mark Prater, who knew that the current name of the ball field facilities, formerly known as Big League Dreams, is Fields at Station 63. When we come back, this week's trivia question. I'm Colleen Daniel, and this is About Mansfield.
Hi, this is Joe Jenkins with Joe Jenkins Farmers Insurance, specializing in auto, home, commercial, and life insurance. I was born and raised here in Mansfield, Texas. We're active in the community, and Mansfield's a town we really care about. Our office has over 30 years' experience in the insurance industry, and we're passionate about what we do and about customer service. For a free quote, please visit our website at joejenkinsinsurance.com or give us a call at 817-472-6058. Once again, that website is joejenkinsinsurance.com.
It is time, right here, right now, for the highly coveted, wildly popular About Mansfield trivia question. If you are the first person to email the correct answer to trivia@aboutmansfield.com, you will receive a $25 gift card to a Mansfield restaurant of your choice, and it's brought to you by Joe Jenkins Insurance. Whether you're looking for homeowners, auto, commercial, or any other type of insurance, Joe's helped Mansfield area residents understand the insurance coverage that best fit their needs since 2010. You can find them on the internet at joejenkinsinsurance.com. Colleen, it's your turn.
Well, Steve, today's trivia question is more of a shout out to the people who help keep our lights on. There are 7 businesses that advertise weekly on this podcast. Today's trivia question is, can you name 3 of our advertisers? Email your answer to trivia@aboutmansfield.com. Again, today's trivia question is simply, name 3 of our advertisers. Good luck, and thanks to Joe Jenkins Insurance for the gift card.
Hi, I'm Casey Lewis, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to About Mansfield, your audio newspaper. Let's open up the features section. Angel Biasatti is here to talk about an upcoming event celebrating breast cancer survivors in Methodist Mansfield. News to know. Angel?
Today, I'm excited to invite you to a very special event right here in our community. It supports breast cancer survivors and our breast center at Methodist Mansfield. Joining me is Lindsay McCullough, the manager of the breast center, to share how you can get involved with our upcoming Pink Luncheon and help make a difference for those fighting breast cancer.
Thank you, Angel. Please mark your calendars for September 27th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Methodist Mansfield Medical Center Cafe. We'll be honoring breast cancer survivors and raising funds for the breast center with our Pink Luncheon. This event is so much more than a luncheon. It's a powerful celebration of hope, strength, and community in the fight against breast cancer. We encourage everyone to wear pink and bring their hearts as we raise awareness and vital support for breast cancer patients right here in Mansfield. Every dollar raised helps the breast center maintain the essential supplies and resources needed to provide compassionate, high-quality care to those who need it most.
That sounds incredible, Lindsay. What can attendees expect at the luncheon?
Attendees will hear inspiring words from Tondi Montgomery, a true beacon of courage and hope, and breast cancer survivor. There will be opportunities to win beautiful designer bags and gift baskets filled with toiletries and scented soaps. You can also visit vendor tables featuring Kendra Scott, Warriors That Pray, and Knitted Knockers.
and have the chance to speak directly with breast cancer physicians who will be available to answer your questions and so much more. It's a wonderful opportunity to connect, learn, and show your support for this important cause.
How can folks register to attend?
Registration is simple. Just visit methodisthealthsystem.org/Mansfield Pink Luncheon to reserve your spot. Space is limited and available on a first-come, first-served basis, so don't wait.
Thank you, Lindsay, for sharing all the details today. At Methodist Mansfield Medical Center, we're committed to providing the best care possible. Our state-of-the-art mammography services at the Breast Center are designed to make your screening experience comfortable and reassuring. Plus, we have a compassionate team, including a breast cancer survivor and nurse navigator, ready to guide you through every step and answer your questions. So join us on September 27th, wear your pink, and be part of this meaningful event. Together, we can make a difference in the fight against breast cancer. We hope to see you at the Pink Luncheon. I'm Angel Biasatti, reporting for the About Mansfield podcast.
Shaken or stirred, you know it's going to be good as Brian Certain serves up a sizzling summer favorite in this week's Cocktail of the Week. Brian.
Today's feature is the spicy watermelon margarita. It's a vibrant renovation of Mexico's classic cocktail that combines the natural sweetness of ripe watermelon with the earthy complexity of a quality tequila, and then brings acidity with fresh lime and the fiery kick of a jalapeno pepper. You'll be rimming your glass with Tajín seasoning, and this cocktail then creates a perfect harmony of flavors that simultaneously cools and invigorates the palate, which is perfectly ideal for these hot August evenings. So let's explore about what makes this cocktail special. First off, tequila, about 2 ounces per cocktail. Use a quality Blanco or silver tequila made from 100% blue agave. Herradura Silver, Epsilon Blanco, or Casamigos Blanco are excellent choices. The clean, vegetal character of an unaged tequila pairs perfectly with watermelon while still providing that distinctive agave flavor that defines a proper margarita. Second, fresh watermelon juice, about 2 ounces per cocktail. As with our previous cocktail, selecting a ripe, sweet watermelon is crucial. The natural sweetness of watermelon reduces the need for additional sweeteners and provides a beautiful pink color that makes this cocktail visually stunning. Jalapeno pepper, or my secret, is I use extract of jalapeno as a commercial product that you can buy. But if you're using the raw product, you'll need 1 to 3 slices per cocktail, depending on how much heat you want. Fresh jalapenos provide the essential spicy kick that makes this cocktail unique. The capsaicin compounds in the pepper create an exciting counterpoint to the sweet watermelon. Please remove the seeds and the white pith for a milder heat, or leave them for a more intense experience from the jalapenos. Then we're going to need about 3/4 of an ounce of fresh lime juice. Always use freshly squeezed lime juice. The bright acidity that is essential to a balanced margarita, cutting through the sweetness of the watermelon and complementing the vegetal notes of both the tequila and the jalapeno. And then agave nectar or simple syrup. Agave nectar is traditional sweetener for margaritas and has the benefit of being derived from the same plant as our tequila. The amount needed will depend on the sweetness of your watermelon, so please adjust to taste. And then Tajín Clásico seasoning. This popular Mexican condiment combines dried chili peppers, lime, and salt, and it creates the perfect rim that adds another layer of complexity and visually frames the cocktail. The chili lime flavor profile perfectly complements all the ingredients of this cocktail. For garnish options, a small watermelon wedge, a lime wheel, or an additional slice of jalapeno create a visually striking presentation. And then you'll need lots of ice for both shaking and serving. So glassware, the classic margarita glass, a variant on the coupe glass is a traditional, but a rocks glass works beautifully as well. For a more festive presentation, consider serving a salt rim mason jar with a colorful straw. We're going to prepare the watermelon juice. We're going to cut about 2 to 3 cups of seedless watermelon into chunks, blend the watermelon chunks until smooth, and then strain through a fine mesh sieve a couple of times, 3 or 4, to remove the pulp and any seeds. Then chill the juice for best use of the flavor. To prepare the glass, take a lime wedge and run it around the rim of your glass to moisten, and then pour tahini seasoning onto a small plate, then dip the moistened rim into the seasoning, coating it evenly. Then prepare the glass with ice and set it aside. For each cocktail, add 1 to 3 fresh slices of fresh jalapeno or jalapeno extract. Then use a muddler to gently press the jalapeno to release its oils and spices. Then add 2 ounces of tequila, 2 ounces of fresh watermelon juice, 3/4 of an ounce of fresh lime juice, and a 1/2 ounce of agave nectar or simple syrup to the shaker. Fill with ice, shake vigorously until well chilled and well diluted, then strain into a cocktail glass for your prepared cocktail. Then garnish with a small watermelon wedge or a lime wheel for an additional jalapeno slice for visual impact and aroma. In closing, the spicy watermelon margarita offers the perfect balance of cooling, refreshing, and awakening heat, capturing the duality of late summer when the days are still hot, but we can sense the changing season approaching. As always, I'm open to hear your take and your input. You can reach me at brian@bourbongospel.com. And until next week, as Mark Twain said, too much of anything is bad, but too much whiskey is barely enough. Reporting for the About Mansfield podcast, I'm Brian Certain.
The Mansfield Business Alliance has recently released their 40 under 40 list. Now, what is 40 under 40? These are 40 people who live here in the community who are the next generation of leaders. They are business people. They are executives. They are everyday people, just like you and me. And in the studio today, we do have one of those 40 under 40. Is actually our intent to interview as many of the 40 under 40 recipients as possible. Our interview today, this gentleman blends academic rigor, faith-driven leadership, and a rich ministry background to empower and uplift Mansfield ISD students. His credentials from Morehouse to Princeton to doctoral studies, along with his varied professional and community experience, position him as a vital mentor and a guide for young scholars. We welcome Michael Evans Jr. to About Mansfield.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here. I appreciate you for having me.
Was all that correct?
Yes, sir. It's all to God be the glory. It sounds too good to be true sometimes, but God has been kind, so, you know.
Okay, now I got to ask you, because our mayor is also Michael Evans. Is there any relationship?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's my dad. You know, as his namesake, I'm trying not to make that brother ashamed. I want to make him ashamed.
Very good. Where were you, and tell me the situation when you found out that you became a 40 under 40 recipient or winner? Where were you, and what was going through your mind?
Oh my gosh, I was with my family, with my daughter Ivy, who is 13 months, and my wife, and I got word, and I thought this has got to be a joke. This can't be. It can't be about me. But just so honored to even be considered, because I feel like I haven't done as much or half of what I think God has called me to do. And so a lot has been done, but
you have a pretty extensive resume from Princeton to now you're working on a doctoral, a PhD, I would presume, or a doctor in
education.
In education,
yes,
okay.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Anything along the way, not only education-wise, but just in life that you are particularly proud of that may have led to becoming a 40 under 40?
Absolutely. I think just remembering that I'm standing on broad shoulders. And so whether that was going to, the home of Dr. King, Morehouse, for my BA in political science, or going to Princeton, or even I'm a dissertation away, Lord willing, this next time I'll be done this time next year, but a dissertation away from my doctorate of education and organizational leadership, the institution that I'm out, Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary, for my EDD, my great uncle Isaac Green was actually denied entrance into that institution back in the 1940s. And so just standing on broad shoulders, you know, he still got his doctorate degree. He left the area and went and pastored in Pittsburgh until he passed away at a ripe old age. And that's my dad's hero. And so, you know, it's just unfinished business. And just standing on their shoulders, I want to make them proud. I don't want any of their hard work to be in vain. Same as my parents, grandparents. I was blessed to have my great-grandmother, Pearlie Mae Sledge, as a part of my life for 16 years. Yeah. You know, and so this stuff, it's not that long ago. And these are people who I really know. And so if not for me, it's definitely for them.
With schooling and with teaching and with the seminary and on and on and on, how do you, let's talk about work-life balance. How do you balance your work between that and your family?
You know, I just try to be as productive as possible in the allotted times that I give things. I have to credit my dad. You know, my whole life he's been present. So with all the things he has going on now, running a mega church, running the city, serving people, still a present husband, father, uncle, you know, I mean, he's done it all. And it's never like one is it comes before the other is pressed for time. But, you know, if I have this to do from 8 to 5, I'm going to be my absolute best self from 8 to 5 in this area. And then at 5, from 5 to 7:30 or 8, I'm going to be the best husband, the most present father, you know, that I can be, and so on and so forth. So whether that's ministry, education, I just became licensed officially for Primerica Life Insurance, studying for my SIE Series 6, education, financial literacy, just allotting the right amount of time and making the most of it. You know, early rising, you know, and some late nights, but it's all worth it.
Is there anything the guy doesn't do? Now let's talk about your biggest challenge.
Yes, sir.
What's been your biggest challenge so far in life itself?
Giving myself credit. I am my biggest critic.
Yeah,
my biggest critic, and it's just nothing's ever enough for me. You know, even when people say good job, I'm thinking about what I could have did better. And I am a perfectionist. And of course, that comes from my dad. You know, he was hard on me. And it wasn't fun or didn't feel good, you know, growing up with that kind of pressure. But it blessed me. And all the success that I've had is, of course, to God be the glory. But it's because, you know, I was raised to do this. Pressure does two things. It busts pipes or it makes diamonds. So which one are you going to be? And so, you know, I'm always trying to find where I can be better. My dad would often call me out when I would do well based on natural ability, but he could tell when I didn't put the time in. And so, you know, publicly it might be claps and, you know, and affirmations, but when we get alone, you know, he'd fire me up about how he knew I was BS. You know, I didn't put the time in. He can tell it'll pass in front of other people, but did I really give it everything I had?
Let's talk about your dad and your future. Your dad eventually became a school board member.
Yes, sir.
He eventually became the mayor.
Yes, sir.
So they let's call that the city council. You are a school teacher.
Yes, sir.
An avid teacher.
Yes,
a
sir.
teacher and avid. Do you have visions of either becoming a school board trustee or a city council member?
You know, I honestly don't. I started working at the Capitol, at the state Capitol, when I was 27. I hadn't even graduated Princeton yet. I was serving as the director of public policy for the Baptist General Convention of Texas Christian Life Commission, and I was representing their interest in the Capitol, specifically for the 87th legislative session. And my 3 years working in the Capitol, it was very informative, to say the least. And so
politics is not for me.
Oh, hey, you know, and I'm not naive. I recognize that politics are in everything.
No, sure.
And so there's no escaping it. But I just think that my experience in the Capitol, seeing behind the veil, if you would,
Mm-hmm.
God bless my heart, thinking I'm going to come in here and
how they make the sausage.
Oh my gosh! And after seeing it, I cannot unsee it. I can't unsee it. And so that really helped me be gung ho for my father in his election, and just front lines, whatever he needs. It helped me do that because I support him, and he was absolutely created to do what he does, which is bringing people together. So I'm not going to rule it out, but I will say after what we just saw, I have no desire to put my hat in the ring. Right. I'm just going to pray for us, and we're going to serve best I can.
Let's talk about the next generation.
Yes, sir.
You are, as I mentioned at the beginning, the next generation coming up of leaders in Mansfield, the generation that is following you.
Yes, sir.
If you had any advice to anyone who wanted to be the next leader in Mansfield, what advice would you give them?
I would tell them to focus on our similarities and remember that we're stronger together. We're stronger together. The trick of the enemy is division. Mm-hmm. If they can divide us, if Satan can divide us up, well, then he can sift us like wheat. But if we're standing together, it's going to be hard for him to do that if we're on one accord. And so whether that's running an organization that's student-led in school, or trying to start a nonprofit, or when it comes to the city, we are stronger together and we're better together. And if we can focus on the things we have in common as opposed to the things that, could possibly divide us, man, if it's not life or death, heaven or hell issues, man, let's just stick together and serve so we can all live the best life we can as one community, as God wants it to be. So just try to serve everybody and focus on what we have in common. That would be my advice.
That's a good answer. I'm going to conclude this with an open mic. If you want to give any shout outs, you want to give any thanks, you want to give any advice, you want to do anything, the mic is yours. What's on Michael Evans Jr.'s mind?
Well, first of all, I just want to thank you for even having me. I appreciate you for letting me.
This is fun.
Now that is true. This is fun, and so this has made my day. You made my day.
Well, thank you.
And I'm appreciative for this opportunity. I would like to say, just first, to God be the glory for all the things that he's done. The resume sounds good and all that good stuff, but I was there. I know the whole story, and God has been kind, and he's been gracious, and I'm appreciative. Thankful so much to the Bethlehem Baptist Church, just for that faith foundation that's been there for my whole life. Some good people, some real servants of the Most High God who are here to serve all people, regardless of what they look like or how they identify, whether that's politically or anything. I've just been blessed to be around some good people who have set a standard that I would be remiss if I didn't just shout them out and let them know that I remember all the lessons that they taught and the examples they set. I love my dad. I love my mom. My mom is in the background a lot because, the politics and everything, it can be a lot.
Oh, sure.
And people don't know the stuff that she has to go through or has went through and deals with. And so even though she's behind the scenes, she's so strong in the way that she upholds my father and all the things that go on. I know he puts on a great front and mask and he'll smile through, the worst of times. But my mom really holds him up. And so I appreciate her. And to my wife, who I love so much, I don't want to make her ashamed. I love her, my daughter. That is my everything. And that's the first of many.
There you
Lord
go.
willing, you
Yes.
know. And so just so grateful to the people around me. And I say this and I mean it. I don't want to make them shame. Stand on broad shoulders, want to keep this legacy alive and just fill these shoes that are in front of me, which is no easy thing to do. But I appreciate God for the challenge and for the opportunity. So just want to keep on serving the Lord, serving the people of Mansfield, supporting my father, who is my hero, my pastor, my best friend. Everything that he's taught me, everything that he preaches, I've got to see him live it out. And brother's not perfect, but if I had to give him a rating on life and practicing what you preach, I give him a 98. That other 2% is from all the whoopings I got. I don't appreciate that.
Okay.
But it blessed me.
Yes, it did.
And I appreciate
it. All right. Michael Evans Jr., Congratulations on 40 under 40.
To God be the glory. Thank you, sir.
Been a pleasure. Thanks for being on About Mansfield.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
We're back in 60 seconds with Steve's Talkin' Tax interview with CPA Alison Reiff-Martin.
Imagine a city where innovation knows no bounds, where dreams take flight, and the future unfolds before your very eyes. Welcome to Mansfield, a beacon of growth and a testament to vision. In the heart of Mansfield, a remarkable transformation is underway. But it's not just about the physical landscape. It's about the spirit that drives us forward. A spirit of collaboration that bridges cultures, a spirit of entrepreneurship that fuels prosperity, and a spirit of community that binds us as one. Mansfield is more than just a place. It's a canvas where diversity paints the picture of progress. From art festivals that ignite creativity to tech hubs that redefine boundaries, this city celebrates every voice, every passion. Mansfield, where growth knows no limits and the vision is limitless. Brought to you by the unstoppable spirit of the Mansfield Economic Development Corporation.
Hi, I'm Fire Chief Mike Ross, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to another segment of About Mansfield. I'm Steve Casillo as we make the transition from news to talk. And in the studio today is just me because my guest is by Zoom today. And want to take you back first to July 4th, 2025, which was just about a month or so ago. The One Big Beautiful Bill Act was signed into law. And really, what does it mean? What does it mean to you? What does it mean to me? What does it mean to the average consumer? What does it mean to the business owner? And in full disclosure, she is the certified public accountant for Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio. She is the number one go-to when I think of taxes. Alison Reiff-Martin, welcome to About Mansfield.
Oh my gosh, thank you for the great introduction, and thank you so much for having me here. I will say it's hard to believe July 4th was, oh my gosh, like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, well, actually, by the time this airs, probably a couple of months ago. But
yeah, exactly, right?
A month ago.
Yeah.
Since you've never been on this podcast before, let's talk about you for just a brief moment. Give us the Reader's Digest version of who is Alison Reiff-Martin?
Well, I am as you mentioned, I am a certified public accountant, and I have had my own firm now since 2016. I specialize in tax accounting and consulting matters with individuals and small to medium-sized businesses. So for anybody who sits there and thinks tax boring, anyone who thinks accounting boring, they're probably right in terms of the process. But what I like to do is help you tell your story through numbers, be it your individual tax situation or your business situation. My goal is always to think ahead, not behind, because the goal is to plan.
And Alison is probably the only one who does not find taxes boring.
Yes, exactly.
We don't have a whole lot of time here because we got a lot of ground to cover. So let's get into the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. First of all, how would you summarize for the Mansfield listeners out there the key tax benefits of the Big Beautiful Bill?
Well, actually, as you really spend a lot of time deep diving into it, there are some great opportunities. I think, honestly, the biggest area of opportunity is for individuals who may itemize. To me, the biggest win, I think, was the state, the changing the itemized deduction for property tax from the cap at $10,000 to increasing the cap up to $40,000. So it obviously offers more flexibility to be able to itemize and therefore reduce your taxable income. Now, the one cap to it is that if your adjusted gross income exceeds $500,000 and then fully at $600,000, it starts to phase out, and then it will go back to the 10. So here's where, like I said, I like to do a lot of planning. That's where it's important to discuss with a tax advisor, or just, however you normally do it. What is your income looking like so that you are able to take advantage of that wonderful $40,000 deduction? That to me I think that's the big win.
Okay. And by the way, let's start with, groups of people, consumers, seniors, families, workers, investors. Who stands to benefit most from the big, beautiful bill?
I think everybody, actually. If you talk about workers, one of the great wins, I think, was the deduction on tips, on no tax on tips and overtime. Again, so, if you're in the service industry, and it was also expanded, it's a wonderful, thing for someone who works in the restaurant industry, or if you just, work at a facility, a job that pays overtime, you can deduct, for tips, you can deduct the first $25,000 in tips against your income. Again, there is a caveat to it depending upon your filing status. If you're single, it's $150,000 income limitation or $300,000. But that, I think, is a big win. The overtime.
Hang on, before you get into that. So let's talk about tips then, because when it comes to finances and taxes, personally, you kind of have to explain it like you're explaining it to a 4-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I've made $20,000 in tips. What do I do with that? Aside from spend it?
Aside from spending it, and hopefully you've invested it in some way so that you can continue to save it. But when you get your W-2 from your employer at the end of the year, when you file your tax return, you will look on your W-2, and it's currently being listed out now anyway. I believe it's box number 7 on your W-2 that says what's your taxes or tips that you earned. There will be a line on your tax return that says how much did you report in tips, and that will be that'll reduce your taxable income. So, for example, let's say that your income inclusive of your tips was $100,000, and you made $25,000 in tips. Well, your tax return will show tax adjusted gross income of $75,000, because we take 100 and then we deduct the $25,000. You're only going to get now taxed on $75,000 as opposed to $100,000.
Ah.
So think right there what a great win that is for you, because you're now only having to pay tax on, like I said, $75,000. So that obviously lowers your tax liability. And if you over withheld, it maybe increases your opportunity for a refund or having to owe less.
Now, as a person who has clients come in and record their podcast in my studio, can I take some of that income and say it was a tip?
Not if that is normal practice. You cannot. It has to be. Unfortunately, because
I'm always looking for the loophole.
Exactly. There is always a loophole here. So it really is what in the industries that it is normal practice to give out a tip, like restaurants, like beauty salons. Heck, I would love to get tips as a CPA. I would like to get them as opposed to give them. So, but that's just not how it works. So it's really what standard industries.
You were going to expand on that with overtime.
Oh, yes. So let's, in the similar example, let's say you had, I'm married. My spouse and I have adjusted gross income of $300,000. Well, I get paid overtime in this particular example. And in this example, my overtime was $25,000 of overtime. Well, so again, in this example, remember my gross income was $300,000. I am able to now deduct $25,000 off my income. So I will be taxed on $275,000 worth of income as opposed to $300,000. Again, another win in that my tax bill goes down based on my taxable income. So again, it's another win. Now, if I had $305,000, I would not be able to take advantage of that because my income exceeded, that's where the income starts to phase out. So that's just something to keep in mind. But again, what a great win to have to get a nice deduction of $25,000 against my income.
So the key is to stay under $300,000.
Yes. And again, here's where planning comes in. Mm-hmm. If you are able to, if you think you're going to get, income is going to put you over the threshold, maybe go to your employer and ask, is there some way that we can defer payment of income till next year? Now they might have a reason to say no because they want the deduction as well. But I'm just saying there's opportunities, to defer income for you. Or if you're going to, again, I think here it just speaks to the idea of going to your tax advisor and saying, what ways am I able to, keep my income within the $300,000? Maybe you can say to your employer, well, if I work, instead of working, I can cut down the number of hours I work in the end of the year, and you pay me in January or something. There's a whole bunch of strategy behind it, but that's a good way to, make sure that you can stay with under the $300,000.
I'll work on that.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Push that last client into January so it doesn't push me over the top.
Exactly.
Also on the list, we're talking business owners. We're talking people who are going to buy a new car. We're talking people who have children in child tax credits. But what I am selfishly most interested in, because I start Medicare this month, senior tax relief.
So if you are older than 65, there is a temporary deduction that allows you to take an additional $6,000 off of your gross income. So again, we'll go back to the example of, in this case, I'm married and my spouse and I have $150,000 of income. And that's the maximum cap at which you get to take full advantage of the deduction. My taxable or my adjusted gross income will drop from $150,000 to $144,000. So just again, while in the end you might think, well, it's only $6,000, but it's $6,000 less dollars that you have to pay tax on. So again, this is really wonderful, especially if you sit there and think when you're 65, you're starting to get into retirement and you're starting to become more on a fixed income. So every dollar helps. So that is a great win as well too for senior citizens.
$6,000 is a good night at the vault.
Exactly, right?
You're not from Mansfield, so I don't know if you know what that is, but it's our high-end steakhouse here in Mansfield. And so $6,000
it's no small shakes, because even if you think you're in the 20% tax bracket, that right there that's a $1,200 tax savings. $1,200. That's nothing to sneeze at. So, I think that's a big win. It's a temporary deduction. It'll expire at the end of 28. Now, obviously we can't have a crystal ball and predict whether this will continue to extend. But, I'm going to imagine that Congress and Senate would be really smart and think, I bet I should extend that one because our senior citizens will really appreciate this one.
In fact, I wonder how many people in Congress are senior citizens.
I suspect almost all of them.
So this not only benefits you, it benefits us.
I think I think they would be silly to not extend it. But of course, we can't predict that they will or won't.
Right.
But for now, take advantage of it.
A lot of our listeners are grandparents, our parents, have little kids out there. Let's talk about child tax credit updates.
So if you have children, and the tax credit, as we know, was $2,000 per child up to the age of 16 on your tax return, it's now increased to $2,200. And again, another nice win is a portion of this $1,700 of this child tax credit is fully refundable. So even if you owe no taxes at the end, you would get a refund of $1,700. So again, let's say that I had a kid and my taxable income was, my total tax liability was $1,700, or I'm sorry, zero. I would get a refund of $1,700. Again, think what you can do with $1,700.
That's a lot of diapers.
That's exactly a lot of diapers, a lot of baby formula, a lot of just making your life easier. And I think that's another great win for our taxpayers.
I'm thinking I'm buying a new car. Is now a good time to do that?
Absolutely. This one to me, again, I will say, I think this one is a great win as well too. Just keep in mind, it applies to new cars that you are purchasing outright and you're buying it with a loan. Now, of course, we would always say if you can buy a car with cash, obviously that's better because you don't have to worry about the loan plus, interest on it. However, if you are taking out a loan, you need to buy a brand new car. It doesn't matter the brand. It just has to have final assembly here in the United States. So the goal of this bill, this nice deduction, is that we're trying to incentivize buying American-made cars or cars again that are built here in America. Because the goal is to bring manufacturing back. So if you bought a brand new car, you may deduct up to $10,000 of the mortgage or of the interest on the loan. So just think, and if again you had, let's say I had an income of $100,000, and my interest, which would be presumably will be reported on a 1098, much like your mortgage interest, I will be able to it's an outright deduction. So of $10,000 was my interest on my auto loan. My adjusted gross income becomes $90,000. Okay. So right there, again, if you think of the 10% or the 20% tax bracket, that's a $2,000 savings. So I think this is a win for lower middle income to lower income workers. This is a great win because again, it's a nice reduction of your income.
As long as the final manufacturer is in the United States.
And it is a new vehicle. Regrettably, I wish they had included used cars in there because, there's such a, used cars are a great and wonderful thing to buy too. But again, I get the whole motivation behind it because the goal is to incentivize manufacturing in America or made in America.
I'm a business owner. Anything happening for me? You're a business owner too, so you're smiling.
I'm a business owner too, so this one, there are several big wins here. One is, especially if you sit there and think you need to buy equipment to run your business. So like for me, for example, if I need to buy a computer, instead of having to only be able to recognize 80% or 60% of bonus depreciation, I'm now able to recognize full 100% bonus depreciation. So, and there's no income limitation on it. It's really just, did you buy a piece of equipment? Did you buy furniture and fixtures? And there's a whole plethora of choices for the types of capital equipment. But let's say I purchased a $5,000 piece of equipment to run my business. Mm-hmm. I'm allowed to expense, or I'm able to expense the full $5,000 as opposed to $3,000, assuming 60% bonus depreciation. So just think of this again, that is going to, help play a key role in lowering your taxable income. So that's another great win, I think, for small business owners. Another great win is if you are, say you're doing research and development expenses, and a lot of SaaS software companies are doing this. If you have capitalized software development costs, say in 2024, you had started, you have some unamortized expenses, you're able to now recognize the domestic portion of those expenses ratably over the next 2 years. If in 2025 you incur domestic research and development expenses in development of your software, you can fully expense those as opposed to having to capitalize and amortize. So again, another big win. If you have foreign software development costs, mm-hmm. those have to be amortized over 15 years. So again, you can see the motivation is to get you to invest in America, invest in domestic vendors, right. Work with, I think there's a great win behind it all the way around.
Let's go back to buying that computer, because actually I'm looking at adding a second computer to this studio. The big question is, when does the entire big, beautiful bill go into effect? Can I buy a computer tomorrow, or do I have to wait till January?
Well, actually, you could have gone back and bought one on January 19th.
Of this year.
Yeah, of this year. So this one is nicely retroactive to January 19th. I don't know why they picked January 19th, but so go back and look at when you purchased items. You have up until December 31st.
I would think they chose January 19th because January 20th is when...
Good point.
There you go.
That is an excellent point. And I also would imagine too, in the first, in the first month of any calendar year, most business owners aren't investing in equipment because they're trying to figure out their budgets and, trying to just get organized for the year. So just think you have between now and the end of the calendar year to invest in capital equipment should you need it for your business. And it's another great win.
Alison, we've talked about consumers. We've talked about parents and grandparents with children. We've talked about business owners. We've talked about seniors. Is there anything I've missed?
Well, okay. Here's one that I think every business owner will be very excited about.
Okay,
now, regrettably, this one starts in January of 2026. Those dreaded 1099s that we have to send out to vendors.
Yeah, I hate those.
Everybody hates them, but we have to do it. Well, they have increased the limit on what when a 1099 is required. If you remember, it's been $600 or more is when a 1099 is required. Now it's greater than $2,000. So just think how few 1099s you have, how many people you don't have to chase to get a W-9 from, how few you have to get out and mail before January 31st. I think that's a great win.
$2,000 instead of $600.
Yes. So just think, if you paid a contractor $1,999, you don't need to send them a 1099 anymore.
Well, and thinking on the flip side that I do a lot of contract work where people send me 1099s. So we'll try to keep that to $1,999.
Now, as the recipient, you are still obligated to report that income, regardless of whether you get it or not. But it is one less administrative burden. And let's all face it, or say, am I saying it right? Let's all face it. Sending out 1099s is a pain. We all know it. And it's not just that it's this pain of sending them out, it's chasing for the W-9s.
True.
So it saves, it conceivably, it doesn't absolve you of responsibility to report it if you're the recipient because you have to report all income. But again, it's just one less burden to have to worry about if you're the business owner.
But I have a CPA that sends out my 1099s for me.
Exactly. See, so it's one less burden your CPA has to take care of.
Speaking of CPAs, if someone wanted to reach out to Alison Reiff-Martin, CPA, where can they find you?
You can find me on my website, reiff-martincpa.com, or you can email me at info@reiff-martinaccounting.com. And I would be most happy to talk about the big, beautiful bill, your tax situation, and again, how we can plan ahead. I will say in closing, because I know this has really been such a fun interview. The most important thing is to pay attention and plan ahead because December 31st is, believe it or not, 5.5 months away. That's it.
Wow.
That's it. And you have 5.5 months to plan ahead, make some strategic moves because come December 31st, if you haven't implemented the cost saving ideas, like, haven't paid attention to like the income deferral idea that we talked about, come December 31st, if you didn't do it, you can't do it.
Give your website again.
reiff-martincpa.com.
reiff-martincpa.com. And for the listeners, Alison, 1L. So it's ALISON, Reiff, REIFF -Martin, like the bird.
Yes. Yep.
By the way, for those who are listening and actually want to see this, because when I do Zoom interviews, I actually record them by video and I put them up on my YouTube page. So if you want to head over to YouTube and do a search for About Mansfield News Talk, you can actually see the interview with Alison Reiff-Martin. And Alison, we spend a lot of time together over the years, and this is the first time I've actually had you on my podcast. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, this is really fun. Thank you so much for the great opportunity.
And now I'm going to go out and buy a new car with a loan, as long as it's manufactured in the United States, and I'm going to go buy a new computer.
Final assembly.
The final assembly.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Thanks for being on About Mansfield.
All right. Have a great day, Steve. Thanks again.
Coming up next week on About Mansfield, I'm taking the week off, but that doesn't mean we're going to leave you empty-handed. Next week, we present a entire one hour interview with Old 97's singer-songwriter Rhett Miller. This is one you won't want to miss. In the meantime, this is the place where you will hear the latest Mansfield news, talk, and information. Until then, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, engage, connect, amplify, elevate, celebrate, embrace, explore, share, love, or support this podcast. I know I didn't do that all right. If you haven't already, so you never miss an episode, it's free and it's easy. Head on over to our website, aboutmansfield.com. We will never, ever send you any spam. That is my personal promise to you.
About Mansfield is recorded at Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio. Hosts Steve Casillo and Colleen Daniel. Moment with the Mayor feature, Michael Evans. Methodist Mansfield News to Know, Angel Biasatti. Cultural Arts Calendar, Tim Roberts. Cocktail of the Week, Brian Certain. Post-production editing, mixing, and mastering, Steve Casillo and Andrew Miner.
This podcast is copyrighted by Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any use of this podcast without prior written consent is strictly prohibited. We thank you all for listening. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Steve Casillo, and this is About Mansfield.